Hey everybody, another GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Kill Team Brutal Cunning. And this is part 3 of that review as we go through the last of the 2 kill teams in here. And this is going to be the Wrecka Krew kill team for the Orks. Now this is the second Ork kill team to grace the 2024 edition, as the basic Ork kill team from the appendix was removed. We've now got a Tank Busters kill team, and this includes some unit types, and obviously is also a box compatible as Tank Busters in Warhammer 40,000. They may also get a data slate for these new Tank Busters armed all with hammers as Wreckas, and this box set is in the box. It builds a grand total of 6 Orks and 2 Squigs, making it one of the smallest kill teams on par with a Space Marine kill team. Which is interesting because they're not a 3 APL kill team, except they also kind of are, and makes for a really interesting sort of like build. They're kind of unique in that they're a mix of close combat and very swing or miss shooting, because they just blindly fire rockets in all directions or hit you with giant smash hammers. Now, the box can make 5 Smasher Boys if you want, or 5 like Tank Buster Boys, just classic guys with rockets. You can also make a Tank Buster Rocketeer who has a backpack launcher that has a like rack of salvo missiles, or it also has a pulsar rocket, which is a classic old Rogue Trader heavy weapon. And then you get some specialty melee guys. You get the Breakable Crusher, who's very reminiscent of old tin bots from Rogue Trader in 2nd edition 40K. I really like that aesthetic. And then also a Breakable Demolisher, who has the big tank hammer, which became famous with that metal Tank Buster Krew, which I believe was 7th edition Warhammer 40K Orks. I got the Knob. He's a Knob. He's got either dually rocket pistols, because why not, or a smash hammer. And all of these are multi-part plastics in the box. And looks like it's going to be like a 2-model kit. You also get 2 bomb squigs. They're a lot like the bomb squig from the Commandos box, but you get 2 instead of 1. And yeah, it's just a squig that they've convinced to hold a whole bunch of like IED stuff and then go run around. Now, what's great about this box set is you do actually get data cards for your operatives and the kill team in general. They're the exact same style. They don't come in as cool a box because obviously the packaging isn't retail packaging. I don't know if these will be available in a retail box separately. They usually, when the edition ends, the double team boxes, like the playset boxes like this, become available separately. So if you aren't interested in buying this whole thing as a bundle, if you wait a year, usually this stuff starts to trickle out when the next season begins. So get them now, get them later, find a split up on eBay. I don't know, but we're going to go over the team right now. So this team is interesting in that they're like a momentum-based crew. Their faction rules are Wrecka Rampage. Whenever they make a shoot or a fight action, as long as they're not a bomb squig, they get +1 APL. And that means that they become a 3 APL crew. So basically, if you're always shooting or attacking, and there is a problem with this because they've inherently made the 2 unit types that are your core troops only able to do one of those 2 things. So if you look at the basic boy, the Smasher Boy, he doesn't have a gun. The fighter, he just has a hammer. And the Tank Busters, they can do both. And then you have rocket launchers and a fist, so you could potentially do both at the same time. But the fighters are kind of amazing. The problem is that there's no way to get them the extra APL when they're not. Like, you could do it with grenades. If you take grenades as universal equipment, there's some cheats for doing this, and I would almost recommend doing it so that you have the ability to gain an APL. So you could do a thing like charge, fight, shoot later in the turn, and it's a reason maybe to drop some of your faction equipment, but we'll get to there when we get there. That's the first one. It does effectively take you from being a 2 APL crew that has additional APL on your squigs. So you do kind of have some extra activations while the squigs are alive. Later on in the game when you're making shoot and fight actions to being potentially 3 APL. And it also means that it's until your next activation. It's not +1 APL, it's add 1 to the APL stat, which means you can also contest objectives as if you're 3 APL, as long as you've done that during the turn. So there is a reason for the Tank Buster, even the Smasher guys, even if they can't necessarily use the shoot action later on and do like a charge, fight, shoot, then they can still count as being 3 APL, for instance, for contesting objectives, for controlling at the end of a round. And then a Wrecka Rampage. When a friendly Wrecka Krew operative is shooting, fighting, or retaliating in the roll attack dice step, for each attack result of 6 you retain, you gain a Wrecka point. And you can spend up to 3 of your Wrecka points, unless you're a bomb squig. For each point you spend, retain 1 of your fails as a normal success instead of discarding it. So basically, for every 6 you roll, for every crit you get, and your attack dice, one of your misses just hits as a hit, which is crazy. Like it just lifts them all up. Basically, your crits become like an auto balance. And multiples can. So it's not like rending where if you get a crit, one of your hits becomes a crit. This is, or severe, where if you get a crit, one of them turns up. This is just, you can spend as many as you get points. So it's almost like a better severe, and you accumulate them as you roll sixes. You can also save them. You cannot have more than 6 Wrecka points at once. If you start an action with 6 Wrecka points, you cannot get any more during that activation. And those are your faction rules. All right, let's talk about the, oh, and also, sorry, in this box, you get the full token set. I should have mentioned that earlier. I forgot, I was not looking at the card yet. But you get all the required tokens for doing this. So for instance, your drill rocket token, for when you use one during the turn, it's an equipment piece that you can use. It gives you like a running piece. All of your plus APLs, so you can know who made the action for the turn, who's got that on their stat, which is handy. And then pulse of point tokens, rocket rack tokens, tank hammer tokens, the engine oil tokens, everything else that you need basically is over here. And things for even tracking your Wrecka points, which is nice, values 1 and 2. Breach markers, because you can break walls, because obviously that's a thing that these guys are designed to do. And so let's look at your ploys. So your ploys are going to be strategic ploys. You got your during the whole turn ones. So for instance, friendly Wrecka crew operatives melee weapons get balanced. Tough gets. Whenever an operative is shooting at a friendly Wrecka crew operative that has an engage order, you can reroll defense dice. I love this. Don't hide, be standing all the time. You only get your additional APL Wrecka rampage if you're engaging as well. And tanked up only happens when you're engaging. So the idea is here, just never hide, always fight until you're dead. Destruction, sorry. Friendly Wrecka crew operatives range weapons have saturate. So you're gonna get saturate for no retained successes on all of your rocket packs, which is kind of cool. Now they already have like blast and ceaseless. What else does the rocket pack have? Blast 1 inch. So now you have blast 1 inch and saturate as well. And then amped up. Each friendly Wrecka crew operative that has an engage order immediately gets D3+1 lost wounds back. So imagine that every turn, as long as you're standing, you just get amped up more and more and more. It's the silver baking spray on your face if you're a Half-Life war boy. These are all pretty great. I will say amped up and tough gets are both fantastic. You start with tough gets, and then next turn you amped up, and then you just keep amping up every single turn while you're fighting. Then we got our firefight ploys. We have just a scratch. Use this firefight ploy when attack dice inflicts normal damage. Just ignore it. So you can spend a CP basically to ignore normal damage once per turn. Bomb squids can't do it, obviously. Demo job. Use this firefight ploy when a friendly Wrecka crew operative performs a fight or shoot action just before incapacitated operatives are removed, if any. Place one of your demolition markers within the target's control range. If it's using a blast weapon, the primary target. Whenever a friendly Wrecka crew operative that's not a bomb squid is shooting against, fighting against, or attacking against an operative within 3 of that marker, you can spend a Wrecka point for free even if you don't have any. So just one of your misses becomes a hit. In the ready step of the next strategy phase, remove the marker. So basically you just pick a point in the battlefield that you want to destroy. Prop a scrap. Use this fight ploy when a friendly Wrecka Breakaboy or Wrecka crew boss operatives activation. During the activation, you can perform 2 fight actions. So this allows you to trade, like I said, the problem with the fighter boys, not how the fighters not having any of their ranged weapons to be able to do like a charge fight move. You can gain an APL and then for an extra CP basically be able to fight twice. So it's like a pay for intercessor assault marine ability, right? And then kaboom, use this firefight ploy when a friendly Wrecka crew operative performs the shoot action with a weapon with blast. Until the end of the action, add 1 to the weapon's blast and it gains severe when shooting the primary target. You cannot use this ploy with drill rockets because they're a different type of ammo. Note that the severe doesn't generate a Wrecka point because it's not actually a 6. And then we've got our equipment. We've got drill rockets. It's almost the same as the Phobos special ammunition. Once per turning point, whenever a friendly Wrecka crew operative is performing the shoot action, if you select a rocket launcher or heavy rocket launcher, use this rule. If you do, it loses blast but gains piercing. So you fire a crack rocket instead. Extra armor. I'm in the air about this one. Gain a wound, but lose 1 from your move stat, and then excludes your bomb squigs. If it was just gain an armor, gain a wound, sorry, cool, but 1 wound for -1 movement. You all become movement 5 instead of movement 6. I don't think I'd take that one. Engine oil, once per turning point, whenever a friendly Wrecka crew operative, excluding bomb squigs, is activated, you can use this rule. If you do until the end of the activation, you can ignore any changes to your stats for being injured. That one I love. And then glyphs. When you use this equipment is selected, also select the WA or destruction strategy ploy. The first time you would use this, it costs 0 CP. Whenever you would use it thereafter, it costs 0 CPs if you have any Wrecka points. So basically, glyphs means one of these strategic ploys, either WA or destruction. I'd probably take WA just to gain balanced. As long as you have Wrecka points, you have a reroll, right? So you can save your Wrecka points for a free reroll once they gain the balance with reroll on your melee weapons. Destruction, saturate, handy too, if you want to have lots of gunners in your group, but I think I'd rather have my melee be good because these guys are all about being engaging and running ahead. So let's talk about these guys. The knob. Well, let's look at the two basic dudes anyway, the gunners and the fighters. Your crew is a knob with either a rocket pistol and smash hammer or 2 rocket pistols and a choppa. You get the 2 bomb swigs all the time, and then 5 Wrecka crew. So either any number of tank buster gunners or tank buster rocketeers, and then the specialists, which are breakaboy, demolishes, fighters, and crushes. Sorry, any number of gunners and fighters, the rocketeer, crusher, and demolisher are those specialists. They're the ones you only take once. And that's it. So the basic guys, basic stat line, 2 APL, 6-inch move, 4+ save, 12 wounds. So they're basically a Space Marine with worse armor and worse APL. But their melee weapon, boy howdy, the Smash Hammer. 4 attacks, 3+, 5/6 brutal. So remember the Breacher Boy from the Commando team? Yeah, all these guys are the Breacher Boy. They've also got break stuff. They have a Limp Bizkit song as their special action. Select a terrain feature within this operative's control range. If it's equipment terrain, just take it away. Just break a door. Otherwise, place one of your breach markers within this operative's control range as close as possible to that terrain. Whenever an operative is within one of it, it becomes a 1-inch thick accessible terrain feature. So you're just making doors with your hammer. No big deal. Just smashing walls in. And then this operative cannot perform this action while it's within control range of an enemy operative or if a terrain feature isn't within its control range. So the Breacher's Boy is still better because he can do it for free during a reposition. But, I mean, that's your basic guy. He hits like an absolute ton of bricks. He can easily kill a Space Marine because you can only parry him with crits. So like he might die at the same time, but if he fights a Space Marine, there's a very good chance he just squashes that guy. If he lands 3 hits and the Space Marine doesn't get any criticals to block with, he's just dead. That's 15 damage. He kills anyone in the Astartes team in melee as long as he doesn't hit once, and you can be balanced for free if you take glyphs. Yeah, he's bonkers. He is absolutely. If you get 2 crits, you just kill a Space Marine unless they can block 1. And then your gunner, he's got a heavy rocket launcher or a rocket launcher. You get to choose which one. The heavy rocket launcher is 6 shots, 4+, 4/5 damage, blast 1 and heavy, so it's dash only. And then so it hits basically better. And then the rocket launcher is 6 shots, 5+, 4/5 and blast 1. But you can move and fire with it. So doesn't hit as well, but you can move and fire. And then competitive streak, once per shoot action, if this operative shoots an enemy operative that another friendly operative has already shot during a turn, gain a Wrecka point. So if 2 people shoot the same target, just get a Wrecka point. Determine this when you select a valid target, but you can include any secondary targets when doing so. So basically, the blast weapon will allow you to hit other people. And they have the same core stat line. So those are your basic, I can take as many as I want guys. Then we get the boss. So his options are either a rocket pistol, which is 6 shots, 5+ only, but 4/5 damage, range 8, blast 1. Or you take the pair, and then you can be focused, which means you hit on 4s and gain ceaseless. Or salvo, which means you're gain the salvo rule, which means you select 2 valid targets and then shoot once at each of them. So this dually rocket pistols are pretty neat. The chop is still no joke. It's 4 shots, 3+, 4/5 damage in melee, or you can take a smash hammer just like the fighters have and be brutal with 5/6 damage. He's a Wrecka boss. Whenever this operative performs a fighter shoot action, you just get a Wrecka point for free, and that's it. He's just a real good fighter with 2 extra wounds. The bomb squigs, they're almost, I think, identical to the bomb squig on the Commando boys, right? So 2 APL, move 6, 5+ save. He's got 5 wounds. He's expendable, so he's never counted for anything. But it's incapacitated when determining your starting operative, so he doesn't count to your kill grade. Your kill grade's always going to be starting at 6 models, and dying doesn't do anything. He's also ignored if you were required to escape or survive or be incapacitated or anything else. He just doesn't count for anything. And whenever this operative is incapacitated, a roll a die on a 4+, you get a free shoot action with its explosives. They're the same as the other bomb squigs, so 6 shots, 4+, 4/5 damage, blast 1, limited 1, and explosive. This operative can perform the shoot action with this weapon within control range of an enemy operative. Don't select a valid target. Instead, this operative is always the primary target and cannot be in cover obscured. So it always hits himself. It's very unlikely he survives his own attack. And then stupid, during the firefight phase, he can never be concealed. He can only charge, dash, fight, reposition, or shoot. And that's it. And we got our 3 specialists. We have the Tank Buster Rocketeer. So this guy has the backpack rocket. You got to pick either a pulsar rocket or a rocket rack. The pulsar rocket stays in place. It's a bit like the neutron grenade launcher from the Vespids. It is 6 shots, 5+, no damage. It's heavy, reposition, limited 1, and pulsa. You place the pulsa marker and you put a number of counters on it equal to the number of hits you got. And then every time you activate within range of it, so the range is going to be, and it's 1 pulsa point, sorry, +1 for every hit. You do D3 damage for each pulsa point on each operative within X of the original, where X is its pulsa points. So yeah, D3 damage, and if you get, let's say, 7 or 6 hits +1, it's a 7-inch range. You take D3 damage within 7 inches of it. So it's just a giant radioactive pulse. And then Shockwave, whenever an operative is within X of your pulsa marker, worsen its hit stats by 1 and subtract 2 inches from its movement stat, because it's like a big gravity wave. This is cumulative with being injured. X is its pulsa points. In the ready step of each turn, subtract 1 from its pulsa markers, and then when it goes to 0, you remove it. The rocket rack's just a big attack, so 6 shots, 5+, 4, 5 damage, 2-inch blast, reposition only, and then limited 1 and relentless. So it's just a big explosion. I like the pulsar rocket. I just think it's trolly and cool. I would totally take one every game just for fun. And then the Breakaway Crusher. This is Mr. Tin Boy. He looks like the Tin Boy a little bit from, or the Power Armor Orks from Rogue Trader. He's got a knuckle busters, is what they're called. 4 attacks, 3+, 5/6, brutal, shock, and smash. So he's basically the same as the Smasher Boys, except with shock and then smash. Whenever you strike, you can move the enemy operative in a straight line in increments up to 1 inch. If you do, it must finish its move further away from this operative, and then you move an inch towards them. So you have a beatback ability. And then armored up, whenever an enemy operative is shooting this operative or this operative is fighting or retaliating, your opponent cannot retain attack dice of less than 6 as crits. So lethal, rending, and severe don't work on it. And then your Demolishus. This is Mr. Tank Hammer. He's got a basic bash where he just hits you with it. So 4 shots, 3+, 4, 5 damage. And then if he uses the detonate ability, 4 attacks, 3+, lethal 5+, limited 1, and then detonate. The first time this operative would inflict damage on an enemy with this weapon, do D6 + 6 damage to that operative and each other operative within that operative's control range. Or 2D6 + 6 if it's a crit. Then its activation ends, you gain a Wrecka point, +1 for each operative you incapacitated during that action. Yeah, and then Reckless Temperament. Normal damage of 4 or more inflicts 1 damage less than this operative. If this operative has an engage order, critical damage of 4 or more also inflicts 1 less damage. He's a complete psychopath with a rocket on a stick, which I think is great. So what do I think about these guys? I'm really interested in this one because this is the first time a non-Space Marine kill team can maybe go toe-to-toe with a Space Marine kill team. Be they Legionnaires, Tzeentch, like the Warp Coven, the Renegades, the Night Lords. You're gonna have a hard time. Like, you really have to pick your fights if you're the Space Marines to not have someone who can just absolutely beat you to death in melee. They're gonna have to shoot you, and it's gonna be like the sniper will be a problem still in the Astartes kill team, but like, man, oh man, like it's hard to kill one of these guys in one go. They heal every strategy phase of each turning point, and like they hit like an absolute ton of bricks when they finally get to you. So I think not slowing down with the extra armor means you'd probably want to take a universal equipment piece. The smoke grenades and the explosive grenades are both, I think, super viable picks for this. The smoke grenades for getting you into melee, and then the universal equipment, like crack grenades for throwing at people, or frag grenades if you're fighting against the lighter team, for the fighter boys and the knuckle dusters and the rocket hammer. You just have an option basically to do a charge fight, throw a grenade, which could be super handy later on. And even other orcs, they use the grenade stat line from this, so they hit on 4s, 4 or 5 damage with crack, or hit on 4s, 2, 4 damage with frag, right? They don't get any worse at chucking grenades just because they're orcs. Well worth taking, I think. So I'm interested in this one because your momentum suit important. You still have a really low model count. The squigs are still super dangerous. And you've got this really interesting mix between this like wild rocket damage and then also dudes who will absolutely break you to pieces in melee with their smash hammers. So this is an interesting design space. It's maybe the most aggressive melee team. Also has like a bananas amount of like very inaccurate but splashy damage shooting for locking people up. And then these 2 disposable critters to go take out any viable threats. So you can just send the squigs after that sniper position and hope that you kill them on the way in. They can't conceal, so you have to like, actually physically hide them to get there. But why not try? So there it is, my look at the Orks, the Wrecka Crew from Brutal and Cunning. And this wraps up my reviews for that for today. So big thanks for watching. And again, like I said, if you don't want to grab the whole playset, you can check out my individual playset review and also the Ratling review that we're also up today. You can probably wait a year to have this come out or see if anybody throws it up on eBay. It might be happening. And then also, obviously, it's available in this box if you want to grab it right now. So big thanks for watching. Thanks, Amash. Up again.